All right, y'all, let's get into health a little bit because people seem to take a bunch of anti-buy-OTT-ticks, okay? And these anti-buy-OTT-ticks are controlling you from the inside, and it's part of the second death, okay? And we are given life through the things we eat, through the water we drink, and those types of things. And most people don't realize how they are damaging and killing their body because things of food affect us over time, okay? So as we an antibiotic, a supply of antibiotics can kill off it takes up to 5 years for your colon to restore itself up to proper balance, okay? But that's only if you're like drinking the raw milks and making the ferments at home and getting the lactobacilluses and non-carbonated kombuchas that are made at home, those types of things, okay? Eating mushrooms, all that stuff will help build up your flora, which is basically your forest floor. Your colon is your forest floor. So what you're doing with your antibiotics is you're going in and you're basically spraying Roundup all over your garden, and it's killing all your microbial life, all your worms, all your stuff you've been building up since day one. So like you get your microbes from your mom's breast milk, your mom's teats, your mom's cholesterol. You get it from not washed fruit. You get it from playing in the dirt and eating your hands. You get it from all kinds of things, okay? That's how there's lactobacillus on every single thing, okay? And you get these microbes in your mouth and whatever, okay? You get E. coli, whatever. We all have E. coli living in our body. It's when you get the imbalance, okay? So when you get the imbalance is when you get the antibiotics and whatever else, and you don't feel it till like a year later or however long, okay? So these antibiotics, if you've taken so many in the past so many years or whatever, then your eyes and your ears are going to be closed to the things that like people like me say. And if you notice that people who take antibiotics a lot, I've noticed in my own life, the people who take them, they are going majorly in the fast lane on the downhill, okay? And they're like giving over more and more to their earthly desires right now, and they're like out of control kind of in a mental aspect. And either way, so these antibiotics are going in to control you, and then you go in and insert stuff into you that is a parasite that corresponds with those worms that die not and whatever else, okay? So the worms in your belly, that's part of hell too, where the worm dies not, because these worms, they can put all types of parasitic eggs inside of box goods, and you eat those, and then they open up inside of you, okay? So people are pissing and shitting in the water that they drink right now, and then they chlorinate it and they drink it again, okay? That chlorine, I see in the soon time that people are going to be not pooping in the water, okay? You're going to have to poop in the box or poop or whatever, dispose it, because that poop is going to the water, and y'all are all drinking fecal water if you're drinking city water. That's why it's important to filter your own water with a gravity-fed system, or get one of those 10-stage. I use a 10-stage countertop one for most of my life, and then I finally got the gravity fed and whatever else, but now I'm on well water and I don't need to filter anything, because and also what's weird about the well water is if y'all been following my posts or whatever, back when the cat and the dog in the White House, like in February, it showed up, the well water, it started getting like a cat piss smell, which is weird. And the cat piss smell comes and goes with like the cat on the news and different stuff or whatever. So it's like there's like a spiritual cat or whatever roaming the earth, and I can smell it in the water or whatever, right? But if you put it in the fridge or whatever, it goes away. But it's not as bad as it sounds, y'all. It's kind of like around here, you got the sulfur water, and it smells like you're drinking raw eggs or whatever, or spoiled eggs. Anyways, and that's really good for you. But also, my water smells like eggs too every now and then, so that kind of ties in whatever. And then sometimes it's normal, but different clues. These spirits are moving on earth, and there's things we don't necessarily understand, but they're there, and we kind of understand them, but it's just putting together all the puzzles and pieces. So these antibiotics, these microorganisms, these diets that y'all are eating by the box or in the plastics and whatever, right? These are, and the plastic for the antibiotic, okay? These ticks are a little sucking the life out of you, the blood. So these are helping people be blind, and they're helping people be dumb and deaf and sick and all those other types of things, okay? This is why we're supposed to fast, and it gives you different types of diets in the Bible that you can fast with food or all those different things, okay? And that's why John, he lived on honey and locusts, we're told. So it's very minimal foods that we need to get what we need. There's no calories or carbs or proteins or any of that bullshit, right? Because if y'all grow up in the back in the day, the bodybuilders used to eat carbohydrates to put on muscle, okay? Now they're eating protein. The next is going to be fat. Like, it just goes from one to another. Y'all just being tossed to and fro. There's no good, no bad. Like, just do whatever you want to do. This is what Jesus came for us to do, is that he took all the sins on that cross so we can do all the sins, okay? It's very simple. But there are sins of the world, like box foods or whatever. If you're going to eat too much of something, you want to eat like too many grapes. You don't want to eat too many chocolate grapes or whatever, okay, from the box, or raisinets, I should say. You don't want to eat too many raisinets, right? It's the same thing. You can eat some organic chocolate chips and some grapes, or chocolate chips and some raisins or whatever, but it's when you start going to the raisinets and you buy the prepackaged wax coating and whatever, it's not the same thing. It's just like you can make your own Snickers bar. It's not Snickers. It's not the actual hardcore ingredients. It's the softcore ingredients, that 2% or less. That 2% or less for the twin. It's all they need to control you. 2%. Okay? So you want to take back that 2%, and you want to eat clean. You want to drink clean. You want to live clean. You want to do all those things. And what do I mean by clean? By the things of the earth. By the things God has provided for us. Okay? So it doesn't mean that you can't consume God's plants or God's mushrooms or whatever. They're all equal, okay? For those of you who don't know, cannabis is a vegetable, and it is known as a auxiliary flower, and it was taught as a normal flower up until Kissinger and all those things. So y'all are just being brainwashed to think all this other stuff, and your hearts are going to fail you because they're using cannabis now to heal stuff, okay? But they're also using it now to poison people because the people are using nutrients derived from Monsanto, and that is the same as how tobacco used to be good for you, and then Marlboro started spraying the shit out of it, and then it became bad for you, okay? So the organic tobacco, slow dried, that's the good stuff for you that can help with Parkinson's and lung inflammation and mucus and all this other stuff. And then so it's like there's two trees. There's two trees of life. There's the natural tree of life, and then there's the city tree of life, all right? And you can, just like you can make your own beer, you can make your own wine, you can make all that stuff, or you can go out and buy shit, and you don't know what's in those things that you're buying, okay? So it's just knowing that. That's why the beer belly forms and all that stuff, because you're drinking this toxicity stuff. Well, also beer is an estrogen mimicker. That's why it gives you bitch tits, and the belly makes you look like you're pregnant and all this other stuff, because it's making you into women. And you all drink this estrogen-filled drink when you're watching a bunch of dudes wear spandex and pile on top of each other, or watching dudes dress up in their underwear, putting Vaseline on and rolling around on the ground, or going around and smacking each other's ass, handling big balls or whatever, right? So it's just, man, it's so silly. Y'all need to just start thinking about what you eat and drink. And if you can't pronounce every single thing on the package or on the bottle, or you can't see through it, or it's got too many bubbles in it or whatever, you don't need to probably consume it, okay? Those things are there to entice your senses, to make you think that you're getting something good when it's actually death that's coming to you, okay? You're getting that second death because you don't have that spiritual awareness, that born again in the spirit, that eternal life, to turn everything in your life, to get control over everything in your life, to start thinking about everything that goes in your mouth and why you're putting it there, okay? Is it for spiritual purposes, or is it for fuel purposes, or is it to make you feel better, or is it because you're sad, or whatever, okay? Do you eat because, however, okay? You got to know why you're eating, and what you're eating, and when you're eating, and all those different things. And if you should be eating, or if you need to take a break from eating, or maybe you just need to drink some raw milk for a few days and give your intestines a break, or however it needs to go. But you got to start doing the detox if you're living a toxic life, and just do a complete 180 change, and then start detoxing, and then start working in the other stuff, okay? And what I mean by detoxing is you eat a plain diet to where you're not like preparing foods or whatever. Like a salad is about the most preparation you can do. But then you start working in like recipes or something for 6 months, okay? So like myself, when I started my 8-year cleanse, I did nothing but salads and carrot juice for 6 months. That's all I ate, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, okay? And I also drink Shiner Bock during my detox, but that was a whole different story. Not a bunch, but you know, you like to have a beer every now and then. Back in the old day, and still now, but now when I drink beer, when I drink a beer now, I can literally feel how it affects my body for 3-4 days, okay? If I drink 2 or 3 drinks, I barely ever have more than 3 drinks, ever, okay? It would be like a Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever kind of thing. That would be like a day where I'd have like 3 drinks in a day now. But that will affect me all week long. All right. So these things, you're just getting bogged down, and that's why you need the coffee. It's just like, woe to them, because you're just getting sucked into this trap, and then caught in a trap, and you can't get out. Because I love you too much, baby. I love that coffee. I love the beer. I love the wine. I mean, I like all that stuff too, but you got to realize what it's doing to your body. Like when you stop and then you drink beer or drink wine or whatever, okay? Whatever it may be, and it affects your body the next day or 2 days or 3 days afterwards, you have to think to yourself, like, do I want to do that to myself every day? Do I want to carry on like that and lack in my own being? Anyways, we kind of get into this as a teenager or a young adult, and we never kind of stop after it starts, so we never really know how it affects us per se, okay? So it's a really a catch-22 on some of these things, but you got to be able to have a thinking mind, and if something's carbonated, you probably don't want to drink it, because we are living beings, and as living beings, we need oxygen. So just know that you are depleting your oxygen levels in your soil content, which is your gut, and you are slowly killing the body when you're doing those things, okay? So these are just things that we need to keep in our mind to have on perspective, okay? There's always a time to party, always a time to sleep, always a time to work, always a time for these things. But it's when you start doing it every single day, that's the problem, okay?